All right. Yep. So we gotta cut out OBS. I don't think it's OBS. I think it's YouTube just fucking with me now because my upload speed was totally fine. And let me check my upload speed again. It was like totally my upload speed is totally fine, and I could actually see how much how much power my laptop was using. So yeah, is that so as YouTube probably fucking me up, fucking me over. But yeah, I'm just gonna be here for about 20 more minutes anyway. But yeah, my upload speed is like definitely good. What's up, Mike? We bike. Yeah, my upload speed's totally fine. So yeah, it's probably YouTube just like trying to get me to stop live streaming. What's up, Elijah? What's up, man? Yeah, we on the regular OG YouTube, like just so I can't put the screen up unless maybe I can. But I think you gotta. Well, let me see if I can even find it. Let me see. Can you put? To share a screen with the YouTube's built-in feature, a pop-up window will come up. Oh wait, it says I can. Oh no, maybe not. But yeah, I'm just gonna be on here for another 20 minutes anyway. I was gonna get off in a bit, but yeah. Say, hey, AD, I'm 26, but I have no interest in dating. I like working out, making money. Is it weird I don't want to date? I don't want a woman anymore. No, no, you all right, man. I say you in a better position than many, no drift, for real. You're in a better position than most men in that age range. Because in that age range, it's just all about it's just all of usually, from pretty much from early teens to like I'd say 40, it's all about just getting a woman. Like most men, it's like the main thing on guys' minds. Like, how do I get a woman? How do I get a woman? How do I get a woman? Right. And then after 40, a lot of that shit dies away. And then most men kind of like switch to just like wanting peace and be alone, shit like that. And then that's when women start to turn on because women, they're aging out the whole desirable age group. And that's when women turn on and they want to be wanted type of shit. And then because see, that's why like that's why majority of women you're gonna see on that Kendra G show, they're gonna be in their 40s, right? Because that's when they start to click on because they starting to age out that desirable range, and the new younger girls are coming out. So the women they want what they can't have, and now they can't keep a man, and the men are like, yo, just leave. I just want to be left alone, right? But now in 26, yeah, you definitely in that age group that's harder to I mean, is hold on, let me switch this. You definitely in that age group where more times than not, men are going to have a much harder time. But if you already are out of that, I say you're in a better position than most men in your age group for sure. What's your goal? What you want to achieve before you die, Ms. I already did most. That's a great question, Ms. I hope I pronounced that right. That's a good question. Honestly, I've already done all I really care about is that my son just goes to college, or at least he's prepared to go to university if he wants to go. Just have some form of like higher thinking. I don't want to say it's like I don't. That's kind of not higher thinking, but just like a formal education, and make sure that he's been exposed to at least some exotic ways of thinking type of thing. And I mean, for me, I've already done everything that I've done more than I ever thought I would have done. So at this point, um, now I'm just more in the mode of just having fun with life. Like like it's just life is just more my playground now at this point. What do I want to achieve before I die? Yeah. Um, I've already done everything I really wanted to. The only thing I guess I kind of want to go racing on a racetrack, or at least just drive on a Nurburgring one time. But it's not like a big deal if I don't do it. Like I'm not really like. I mean, somebody just kind of want to do, but it's not like a pressing thing. Like I don't. I did everything. I've done everything I wanted to do to the point. There's nothing. I'm not particularly down about it. I just have my own hobbies I like for example, I started playing video games that I never ever liked. I just made myself play them. So I'm playing Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. I'm almost done with Celeste because I never because I suck at 2D games. I've always sucked at 2D games. And so I'm almost beaten Celeste, which for me is pretty difficult because I'm really bad at 2D platformers. But I've heard like it is like it's a more difficult kind of game. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. That's like made by the same people who made those Dark Souls games. So I'm gonna make myself beat that from play it from beginning to end. Um, then that I mean, on top of like working out and like just reading whatever the fuck I'm reading at the time, like I'm just content. I'm just happy with my life. I'm just happy with my life at this point. From all the experiences I've already had with, all different types of people in and out of my life, like, and then YouTube. Well, YouTube was a really crazy thing because you reach people all around the world, man, and meet people from all around the world that you never would have thought you would ever spoke to somebody like that, right? That was cool too. This YouTube was probably about the ending thing for me, right? Because it's crazy, like just how you know you just meet people from all over the world. Um, but yeah, I've done. I just don't care about money. Like, I mean, I wouldn't mind having more money, but I mean, money's not like I have to do it before I die kind of thing. Like, I have to get $1 million at one time before I die kind of thing. Like, I mean, it'd be nice. I'd definitely take it, but I'm not like my life depends. Like, I'm not in that mode by any. As long as I have some warmth, cooling, some food, you know, running water. Like I'm happy. What's up, J1? Wow. So even if today death comes, you are willing to go. Well, no, I mean, I don't want to die. I don't think anybody wants to die, but there's nothing I would like. There's nothing I would be like, oh, but I haven't. I mean, I guess I want to see my son grow up type of thing. But I mean, as far as like just for me personally, like there's nothing that I just did everything that I did more than I thought I'd ever do. Um, even when it comes down to little things like learning how to dress and just exploring worlds like tailoring, like shit like that. Like it was just all those little things that I just experienced and learned, and now I know. Or like for example, 2 days ago, um, um, well, I quit cooking because my girl cooks. She cooks all the fucking time, so I cook every now and then. And I always wanted to make her some cheese. I told her I used to make cheese, not anything like too crazy, just like basic cheese. So I made her some cheese because I always told her I was going to make her some cheese, and I never got around to it. And I was kind of using the excuse that I needed a cheesecloth. I was kind of using that as an excuse so I didn't have to go do it. But I just made her like some basic farmer's cheese, dude. Like it's super easy to do. If you ever, maybe I should make like a side channel with just like weird side things to like maybe like either like teach some guys or just like bring up because it may start a conversation. But yeah, cheese is really simple. If you have milk, salt, and a lemon, you can make cheese. And just like some type of cloth that can bleed. You probably really use it like a t-shirt. But all you do is just boil the milk, you stir it, and then when it comes to a boil, you just take a lemon and you just squeeze the lemon juice into it and let it keep boiling. And as it keeps boiling, you got to stir it, but you can watch it start to like solidify and turn into cheese. So I always tell my girl because she's into protein drinks and this shit, and I try to tell her, like, well, yeah, with the protein shakes, like literally all the protein shakes is just all the leftover shit from making cheese. They just dehydrate it and just make protein powder out of it, right? And so I showed her. So I finally showed her. I held the pot. I said, "Yeah." So when the cheese starts to like coagulate, starts to come together, the other part starts to become clear. So I made sure she watched it the whole time, so she knows what's going on. I explained to her. So I said, "Yeah, see, all that clear part, that's the way." Or I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure that's the whey protein, if I'm not mistaken, and that's what they use for the protein shakes. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour it into one of baby's cloths that he uses. I pour it into that to drain it out, and then you just got to like let all the liquid drain out of it, and like hang it up like over the sink or something like that, and let the liquid drain out, and that's cheese. All you need is just milk, just some regular milk, some type of acid. I would recommend using lemon, um, and just sprinkle some salt in, because you want some flavored, some salt to it. And she grew up in Italy, right? So I took a pinch off of it and gave it to her, and she goes, she said it tastes like legitimately tastes like mozzarella. Like, so here's the thing: whenever I make something like bread or like cheese or like anything like that, like I could really take her response because she legit grew up in Italy where they like take that shit serious. So like if I did a good job with it, like she's gonna tell me, like she's not gonna lie about it. She's pretty brutally honest with shit like this. And and, and like she just won't eat something and she just doesn't want to eat a type of thing. But she was pretty happy with the cheese. But it was just basic cheese, man. If you got milk, lemon, salt, you can make cheese. And even better, like because you made it. So I think that's better. I got some plants growing outside. Um, banana plant. What's the other plant I got out there that did some? Oh yeah, I'm growing some ginger right now. Yeah, random shit. But yeah, I just done everything. I really now it's just like I wonder if I can do this, and that. It's not my life right now is no longer in the position of like having some type of like dream anymore. I think that's just too far gone. Even though I've never bought a house, I don't really care to buy a house. I mean, I would, but I just don't. I don't have any taxable income at the moment. But I wouldn't mind buying a house if I could find a way to get taxable income without having to work somewhere 40 hours a week. But in my part, in my where I am now, the dream is gone. Now it's just like I wonder if I can grow right I wonder if I can grow something, or I wonder if I can cook this. Well, I did learn that before, so I wonder if I can combine these two together and make something. It's just my life is essentially it's just a big playground of wondering what I can do now. But because now it's like now I know how to work out, I know how to do this, so now it's like well, I wonder if I can go do XYZ. I wonder if I can grow this or play this game or learn how to like sew better or whatever the fuck, right? Yo, AD, I'm 19, living on my own, and I just lost my car and job, and currently have no money for an upcoming court fee. Started watching you 2 years ago. Watch your streams help me through the day. You're 19, man. Yo, it probably seems like the end of the world to you right now, but you are in a great fucking position. And I know that's not probably what you want to hear right now because it sucks what you just told me. But you 19, man. Like this is 6 months from now, you you'd been done grew so far past it and went off and done something else. But 6 months is a long time at 19. Renting a house from the government sounds more important. Since all your desires are gone, I don't think you be coming to this earth again. This would be your last life. There's a few things I do want to try though, like I said, they're just like side hobbies. Like if I come across it, like I really want to get into like legitimate gardening, like because my girl she works at a flower shop, so she knows that's how I got much better with like plants at home because she brings home flowers, or I'll go to her job and I'll see what kind of flowers she has there, what kind of plants, because they get all types of plants, flowers, shit. Actually, let me go get this one kind of exotic one I never seen. It's a succulent. I never seen it. And I seen it about 2 weeks ago, and I had her. Well, we get it either for free or like $1. Let me go grab this plant real fast. It's in the other room. It's where I used to live stream from. I'll be right back. Y'all ever see a plant like this? I never seen this. I had to use Google Lens to figure out what it was. And it has a plant passport. Y'all see that? A plant passport. But I never I seen it. I was like, what is that? And so she didn't know. She had to ask the woman who worked there, and she said, "Oh, it's a succulent. I want to say it's an African succulent, some type of African succulent. I think it is. I had to Google it to find. I never seen this before. Never seen anything like this before. There's this other plant here too. It's a flower. So you know how like a rose has this like everybody knows what a rose looks like. Well, every year they get these other like flowers from Africa. I would show you, but YouTube fucked up. But it's like one long stem, and it has like little roses that grow all the way up it. I never seen anything like that either. And I usually keep some of those here. They're expensive, but she gets them for like either free or like super cheap. I usually keep them here every summer, but this summer it just didn't get that hot at all. Like, maybe like 2 days, maybe about 4 or 5 days this year it got hot, and it's like been six. It's been like 70 Fahrenheit, like ever since. But I think those flowers do better in hot temperatures. I don't know. I would assume so, since they come from Africa too. But yeah. AD, when you had your kid, did you get previous women you used to deal with hit you up like, wow, for real, about what about me? Well, no, because okay, older women I spoke with, like I don't keep Thomas, I don't keep in touch with older women. Like it's very rare that I'll stay in touch with a woman who I used to be with in any kind of way. I just don't. I've never been the type to go back and or even be friends with them on Facebook or anything like that. I just don't. Like once it's over, like unless it's like a rare scenario, like for example, when the girlfriend I was living with in college, when she died. She died. She was like 20, I think, when she died. 21. She was 21 when she died. Because we lived together when she was 19 and 20. Because she didn't. I remember because she couldn't go out drinking, and so she had to get her sister's ID so we can go to the bar. And she got like we were drinking Long Island iced teas, and she got so fucked up, like I had to carry her out of there. And then she like puked like all on my floor on this is before she moved in. She puked like she leaned over the bed. She was like, "I'm sorry for throwing up on your carpet." He's like apologizing. Oh, but when she died, I remember I went back and I contacted her family, her sisters and her dad, because her dad was real cool. And her sisters, I remember she had one sister. Obviously, she was like beautiful too. And I could have swore her older sister hated me. And she goes, "No, Wendell, she loves you. She's like seriously loves you." And I could have swore she hated me. Never would even make eye contact with me when I walk in the room. Um, but I contacted them, and they've always her dad actually ended up dying not too long ago from cancer. But if I write her sister, she always writes me. She would always write me like right back, unless it was like the time difference with me being over here type of thing. But outside of like that scenario, like there's one other girl who I've ever kept in contact with after but we were never like anything even close to serious before. 21. Yeah, Art. Yeah, 20. She had a heart attack. Art McCarthy. She had a heart attack at 21. Fell out. Because I remember, because how I found out was fucked up. I was helping a buddy of mine move, the one who ended up living in my flat while I was over here, and I bumped into her boyfriend, the boyfriend who okay. So I'll go through this story because I went through this a long time ago. So how it happened, how I ended up with her. So years before I'd even met her, right? Because I was a little older when I went to college. I was like 22 when I started. Um, there was a female janitor who was like she had a beautiful ass, right? But she was definitely like she looked a lot younger than she really was. She was a light skinned black woman, and we would flirt, whatever the fuck. And then we end up hooking up like I think two or three times. Because I remember when she stopped talking to me, it was because when right before I was getting ready to walk into one of my biotech classrooms, I had the lab coat and the goggles and the hairnet. Even though I'm fucking bald, but they make you wear a hairnet anyway. And I was getting ready to walk into class, and she had never seen me in it, and so she looked at me like I thought I was better than her or something, and like walked away, and she never spoke to me again. Right. So years later, um the girl who died, when I met her, she was working. That was when I started working as a tutor at the college, and she worked as a front desk receptionist. And she had a boyfriend, right? And the boyfriend was like a super jealous dude from the hood, one of those type of dudes, like we like from the hood, like they were like he was like one of them rough dudes, and he was like super jealous, like off of any little thing, right? Like follow around at the school, everything, right? And I ended up taking her from him because she moved in with me. I remember when she finally caved in and started showing me some attention, right? Because I remember because I remember I said something to her, and I walked to the elevator, and then I turned around and she had followed me to the elevator. It was a nice little walk to the elevator, and she had followed me to the elevator. It was just like acting like real awkward and weird, right? Because I would always like kind of make like some like what's the word? Like, arrogant pass at her, right? Say something like what you don't know how to speak to somebody or something. I would say something arrogant, right? I would always so she finally broke and like was falling for me. So we end up, hooking up with her, blah, 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 blah. Well, when she moved in with me, I had to drive to was it to pick up? All I remember is I had to drop off some type of bookshelf to her ex-boyfriend's mother, to her now ex-boyfriend's mother's house, right? So when I pull up to the house, I still remember like it was yesterday. It was a ton of people on the front porch, right? And pull up, and then she comes walking out, the big booty light skinned woman, right? She comes walking out and she's looking mad, and she's coming to the car, and I roll down the window. I say, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And she leans in and she goes, "Mm," and it just walks away, right? So I said, "Well, I got to get this bookshelf out because I'm not even in. I don't because at the time I'm not connecting that that they're connected in any kind of way. I thought it was just a random luck of random chance of luck that it would be that woman. So I get the bookshelf out. I said, "Hey, you want me to take this up?" She goes, "No, just leave it there. Just leave it there." I was like, "Okay, well, hey, it was good to see you," and pull it off. And so when we pulled off, I looked at her. I said, "Hey, wait a minute, was that your ex boyfriend's mom?" And she goes, "Yeah." I said, "Did you know that we used to?" And she goes, "Yeah, I know." Which I don't even know how she knew, but so anyway, so that I was mind blown for a while that was his mom. So I had fucked this guy's mom, and then I took his girlfriend. That dude wants me dead. Even if he even hears my name, that motherfucker probably just like he just the anchor man with that motherfucker just flips out immediately. Vitor Silva, what's up, man? Vitor, I hope I say that right. AD, would you recommend introducing FA stuff on the context of a serious relationship, or only on having fun dates? FA. If I is that mean forever alone? FA stuff. I don't know. I'm not really sure what that means. Is there a common law marriage in Europe? I don't even know, Art. I would, if I had to guess, no, because they're a little more socially better in this context. But I don't know. To be honestly on a legal level, I never really. Okay, what I do know is if you live with a woman who has a small child for longer than I think 8 months or something like that, she can ask you for child. She in Czech Republic, she can technically ask you for child support. Because I remember reading that when I was married before. Because I went on their websites and found that. Now, if they actually follow it, they may not actually follow it because it's not like America where you can just Google anything and and you can hold like now that's one area where America is a bit better because Britain used to be like that. Where like, yo, if you write it down, that's the law, and we all follow it, type of shit. Like Europe's not like that. You can't just Google laws and expect the people to follow that shit. It's not. America is like you in America. You can Google the protocols of Best Buy and walk in there with your dick out and say, "Yeah, motherfucker, I read your protocols, bitch. So you better refund this used dildo right now," right? And you can do that in North America. Out here, they may not. They may not follow that shit. But yeah, no, common law. I think common law in the U.S. is like if you like live together for, if I'm not mistaken, if you like live together for a while, and then they can declare you like common law married, and it's just like you might as well just should have been married type of shit. If I'm not mistaken. But yeah. AD, have you heard about the bill they proposed in Tennessee that would make it illegal to falsely accuse someone of being a baby's father? Well, that's a great fucking start. They should make it. I think everybody. I think every birth should. I think it should have. It should be law to have to do a DNA test at every birth. I think that should, there's no reason why it shouldn't be a law. There's literally no. They'll test. They literally test for anything. Well, at least out here, they tested my girl for any and everything they can think of, which cleared my mind. Right. Right. Um. There's no excuse why why they won't do a why they shouldn't do a DNA test for every birth in a hospital. AD, one question. I noticed I never see old lesbian women, only young. Why is that? Oh man, no, there's definitely old gay women. The thing is, like, they've already just sanctioned themselves off of their own communities. You ain't gonna hear too much. Because here's it. What I find typically with the old lesbians is this, man. Like, especially when they be like, the more dykish they are, like the more sensitive they are for real. Like those old dyke women, like they just be putting on that act, man. Like the more mannish they'll look in appearance or even try to act. Like if you really sit down and hang out with them for real, like man, them be the most sensitive women you'll ever meet in your life. They just they throw that act on because they don't because either they know they love too much or they too sensitive or whatever they wear their heart on their sleeve and all that shit, so they just run to women, right? I remember one in high school I used to know. We were good friends too. Her name was Tiffany, and Tiff I won't say her last name because I remember her last name too. And Tiffany was, I don't even know if she was a dyke, but she was like super butch. But we were cool though. Me and Tiffany were cool. We used to roast each other all the time and all this shit. I really would kind of want to say her whole name because I wouldn't mind talking to her now. Tiffany was real cool, but I still remember even now, like when I would talk to her, right? Like if I crossed the line, like I was a little too gangster, like she would start getting real like feminine, and it would start to come out like you hurt my feelings. Like, yeah, but she'd be wearing like baggy pants and gym shoes and a hoodie or some long sleeve hoodie shit with a ponytail. But we were cool. But yeah, she would. You know what I mean? No, but to answer your question, no, they exist. They just sanction themselves off because they scared of men for one reason or another because they gonna get hurt around a man type of shit. They exist. Totally do. What's up, oh Charlie? Yo, the last lash. I was on earlier, but my YouTube fucked up. My child support cost me $500,000. Damn, for real? That's 500 grand. Word. That's rough, man. Sorry to hear that. That doesn't include all the stuff I bought my kids that my ex-wife sold for money. Damn. Sorry to hear that, man. Javi, why does society and mainstream media talk about the fact that lesbians have the highest rate of domestic abuse? Why does the society? Oh, because okay, because women are like Europe, man. Like if you say anything bad about it, like you are committing blasphemy. like like Europe and women are in that same boat. Like if you say anything bad about Europe, like in the mainstream world, you're committing acts of blasphemy. Can't handle it. Society can't, and in the West especially, they can't handle hearing anything negative about women. She has to be a victim. And again like second wave feminists were very open about that reality, and even okay, real modern feminists are acknowledge that reality. Real, actual, legit, not just like these serial box feminists, but like these real feminists. When you read their articles, now they acknowledge it 1,000%. Women will immediately be infantilized at any. sense of issues or problems. And see, this is what gender studies don't want you to. Gender studies, they hope. See, the reason why I force myself to watch Barbie is the same reason why I will intentionally go online and find, like, let's say, like University of Michigan syllabus on gender studies. And you can go find a syllabus and read, or at least skim through what they read, right? And find ones that interest you, right? Like criminal history of women, shit like that. Go read it. Google it. And, as a matter of fact, we get off that. That's my homework for anybody who's interested. Just Google gender studies syllabus. I wouldn't do it, but my YouTube's fucked up. Google gender studies syllabus, and you'll find the major colleges, and just go click on them, right? But here's the thing. See, here's the thing. Most modern feminists are complete idiots, right? So they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, right? But the thing is, m- the idiot modern feminists, their game is they hope that you talk yourself and just believe in whatever they say because they're a woman. So you got to go, like, that's, you go out there and read their articles. You go watch the Barbie movie so you know what happened in it, right? So you know, and so now when they come and argue with you, now you have a legitimate fight because you actually read it, watched it, studied it, and thought about it 2 hours later, right? You have to go out there and do that shit, right? I can use religion as an example, like with the satanic shit. I always go back to the satanic. Like I got the Satanic Bible on my laptop. All right, there is nowhere in the Satanic Bible that says that they advocate rapes and brutal murders and none of that. Right? Motherfuckers would just say it's satanic because they know that you don't know what satanic actually means, right? So you'll just believe it. Oh, motherfuckers like blood, they must be satanic. It has nothing to do with it, dude. Like nothing. Okay, Satan is, but like I'm on this rant now, but Satan is, they believe in heaven or hell, but not heaven and hell in the sense of like when you die, you go to this other place and all this shit. What Satan is believed is that hell is within you, right? And hell is essentially holding on. Now in the Satanic Bible, which was written, I think, like 1980 or something like that, in the Satanic Bible, yeah, they do have issues with, like, let's say, like Christianity, shit like that. Of like, well, why would God do this and all in that context? But in that actual focus, they believe that heaven and hell is within you, and when you just die, that's it. You don't go to some pearly gates or fiery damnation. Heaven and hell is literally just within you, right? And you should just do what you want to do. You should try to become educated. You should see, like, say it actually promotes education, right? But the thing is, see, people don't know that. So they know that you don't know that. So when they hear somebody went on a crazy rampage with sex parties and slitting wrists, you gonna automatically believe if they say they were Satan worshipers, right? Or just say, or they do it was satanic shit, right? It's the same thing with feminist shit, right? Or same thing with Europe shit. I put all of it in the same boat. Motherfuckers just believe you. Now, on the flip side, if you say something great about North America, a lot of motherfuckers will immediately want to hate you for that. Satan is, yeah, yeah, it's more of a lifestyle belief system. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, but like I said, with the feminism, yeah, go study, read some of them articles. Read some of those legit articles at universities. See, but again, see, modern women, they're fucking idiots. They don't know. So, but their game is that they hope that you know even less. So you just talk yourself into believing that the woman must be right just because she's a woman when she doesn't know. Right? Right. I got an argument with a dude on Facebook about Europe, right? And he was talking about how Europe did revolutionized math. And I said, well, you got a point, but I mean, uh good luck trying to solve long division using Roman numerals. I'll wait a couple months for you to figure that out. XXXVI divided by VIII, and go ahead and try to solve long division using Roman numerals. I'd love to watch you do that. Whereas, I mean, they did do some gangster shit with math. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's a lot of it's misguided or misunderstood or highly exaggerated. But that's what you get for actually reading shit and and having some at least some sense of awareness on reality. A lot of people gonna disagree with you. I might get some shit wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm totally will fuck up. Don't get me wrong. Can NATO draft you with Russia? The population is going down so fast because of feminism. This is why countries are looking for immigration. This is one reason Russia is taking children from Ukraine. Oh, they take. I know that they taking children. What? I mean, it makes sense. Can they draft me? I can't tell if you're joking or you serious. But no, I can't go to the military anymore because when I got kicked out, I got 3P. It's like 3PJ. Let me Google it. I think it's like 3PJ7 or something like that. Was it 3PJ7? This vaginal discharge. No, military discharge. I got discharged because of my. You see, I got discharged in a way that they will never let me go back into the military because my back is just too fucked up. So I remember when I took my papers back to my where my recruiter was at, because me and him we actually ended up being kind of good friends because my recruiter's name was James. His name is James Crouch. I'll say his name. He's a real cool dude, man. He was my recruiter in Dayton, Ohio, which was crazy because we actually grew up like within a mile from each other in Cincinnati. Like we knew all like because he took me to his I think aunt's house. Yeah, I don't think he was supposed to do that. Because I always have a here's the thing, I always have a weird way of talking to people. Because I remember we were riding back and he was on the phone with his uncle, and I heard his uncle talking to him, right? And he said, something like, "You're doing a good job, Jimmy," and hung up the phone, right? And then so something happened while we were driving, and he didn't. I could tell he didn't want to do something, and I said, "Was that the Jimmy answer or was that the Sergeant Crouch answer?" And then he just kind of smiled and just pretty much let me do whatever I want after that because he knew I wasn't gonna like fuck him over or like call him out in front of people or like disrespect him, shit like that, right? Same thing happened when I was in boot camp too. Um, but we grew up like within a mile from each other, and he seen it. As soon as he seen it, he was like, "Oh shit! Like they will never take you again." I always thought to call him again. I haven't talked to him since. Nice because people in the West are downplaying how powerful Russia is. It's a very serious situation over there, and that's me talking from New York City. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, see, okay. Here's the thing. Over here, well, I would say okay, yeah, and I would say even North America, there's a lot of confusion. Now, I'm not gonna say I'm a aficionado on Russia, but I was, or well, I'm not an expert on Russia, but Russia does have a lot of okay, Russia is historically always been like the other, right? Like they're always the other. Like the Asian populations don't really vibe with them like that. I mean, a little bit here and there type of shit, but they don't really match up well. Like the whites don't really fuck with them like that, and so like Russia's always kind of like sanctioned away in this like special little area. Shit. So but what happened was, since they were sanctioned so far off, and then with that cold weather shit, like their education from Eastern Europe on up, the education rates were historically low in modern times, right? So, but it was like abysmally low there, right? To the point where I think it was, I'm pretty sure in 19 like it got exposed. I want to say in the 50s that they didn't even know how to read. Most of their population didn't even know how to read, right? But all Eastern Europe was like that. By the way, that's one thing Thomas Sowell I do agree. That's one of the many things I do agree with Thomas Sowell on. That yeah, because of how it travels, because there's no access to there's not much access to water, and once you separate too far from water, you're going to be behind in mostly everything. And so I want to say it was in 1950s. Was it? It got revealed. I think like 93% of the population was illiterate. So and on top, so then on top of that, to add to it, since they were struggling so hard, they would pretty much like just pitted against each other after that failed attempt at trying to fucking um rise out of communism. It was pretty much just a social experiment that failed horribly. So that it was just separate them more in these little gangs and groups. So they got this huge stereotype of being just like stupid gangs, right? And I agree with you. It's being downplayed that they're just like so stupid. Now, yeah, some shit is like weirdly awkward. I'm not gonna lie, like they do some dumb shit, but it is being downplayed. It's being downplayed a lot. Downplayed a lot. I agree with you on that. There's a heavy metal singer named King Diamond, originally from a band called Merciful Fate, who's a Satanist that talks about this stuff. He's a very smart man. Oh yeah, yeah, Javi, yeah, yeah. Now I don't want to say like I'm like advocating any religion. I think it's all like a good thought experiment slash philosophy at best. So I'm not gonna like advocate any one over the other one. But since I was open that can of worms talking about Satan and shit. Yeah, yes, it like in my because it's tons of religions. It's been tons of the shit gets so ridiculous. I was telling my girl things that like I don't think she believed me, so I had to like show her examples of like even in China, like they historically were not on that mainstream, like invisible man watching you shit. But their thing was more like everybody, you will always find areas where people were trying to, predict the future and shit like that or have better luck. And in China, there was this thing where they would like study turtle shell. They would put turtle shells in fire. And then, based off of where the crack showed up, they would have a fortune. Was a quantum human designer come up and read this shit and be like, "Oh wow, yeah, like you gonna die when you 98, motherfucker, and you gonna have a lot of money and three beautiful bitches with nice asses." They would always do shit like that. Like it's all like it's the same. Like religion is like the same. If anything, like I think it's more of an insult to humanity that humans on a whole don't see it like that, right? It's historically always been since humans been around. They've always been dreaming of something bigger, something better than themselves, right? And honestly, I think it's a desperate ploy to try to find their mommy and daddy again. Um, but yeah, I think it's more of an insult to humanity that humans on a whole don't just fully look at what humans have always done and just say, "Wow, this is silly." Like we've always been doing this. Nothing's ever come of it, you know. Like I think it's more of an insult to humanity, honestly. Feminism is finding its way into the Muslim nations more. It's like a great infection that doesn't stop. Well, Art, and I tell you, I can believe that 1,000% because there's money in women thinking they know what they're talking about, right? It's money in that. There's money in women thinking that they know what they're talking about. If a woman thinks she knows what she's talking about, okay, because women don't make or create anything, right? So if she thinks that she knows what she wants, okay, you can charge her anything for it. Because she's not okay. One thing's for certain, historically speaking, woman is not going to go out there and build that building. She's not going to go out there and make plumbing. She's not going to go make that iPhone herself, draw it out, plannings for that to make that phone, that watch, that car, that house. She's not going to do that, right? There's money in letting women think they know what they're talking about because she's not going to actually make anything, right? She's going to spend, right? But who's gonna okay, she's gonna spend, right? So who's she gonna get the money from? Men who want to fuck her pussy. She's gonna get money out of them one way or another, right? See, it's money in that. Feminism is gonna spread. All right. If you want to make some money on YouTube or Netflix, YouTube, whatever the fuck, if you want to make money, what do? You dress it up in pastel colors and have everybody smiling. That's how you make money. Dress it up in pastel pink, pastel orange, and make sure everybody's smiling. That's how you, because bitches are going to spend money on that. Yeah, of course, but feminism it's gonna spread. This motherfucker's gonna need money. Oh, they let in Iran, they let female. Wow, yeah, Miss, that's wild. But yeah, it's gonna spread for sure. It's money to be. It's just too much money to be made off that. You can because again, like I said a while back, when it comes to women, if the government really wanted to make money, like if they really wanted to do it, you couldn't do something like this overnight. But you can essentially just build you could build just a fucking one big apartment building and let the women live there for free, right? And and some kind of way, like just have the building take a cut or whatever men spend on them, and it would be enough to fuel that place right there. Women attract money. They don't create money, but they attract it just because their existence of being at at worst on their worst day, they're a sex object. On their worst day, right? She's gonna attract money. If the concept of Islam heaven falls down, Islam too, Islam will become good. And it's not that don't they do that shit of with the virgins and all that shit. That's wild, man. Like that's wild. That's that's the crazy part about religion, man. It's like Alan Watts said, like it's all wretch and no vomit. Like it's never gonna get there, man. Like motherfuckers have been selling people the future since they figured out how to draw on cave walls. Motherfuckers have been selling, they will sell you the future and just be talking shit the whole time. Selling the future. That's what it is. I'm gonna sell you the future. As long as you do this for me now, you're gonna get something in the future. Right. Now, out of every movie you've seen or anything you done in real life, right? How often does that truly work out in the context of a motherfucker coming to you say, hey, I got this real great deal for you? How often does that shit work out? If you deduce the math on it, it's gonna be a scam. Think about it. Now, and I'll admit, right? I'll admit, like a part of religion is stuck in me forever because I grew up in that shit, right? I totally, I grew up in it, so it's always going to be like connected to me in some form. But I also went off and studied this shit. Like for example, especially in Black communities, this is a popular thing. But this is a thing everywhere. Now, Asian communities tend to like accept it, but like once you pretty much leave Asian communities, you'll always find pockets of people who absolutely just refuse pork, right? And they'll come up with every excuse why they shouldn't eat pork because the animal's dirty, whatever the fuck, right? Now, I try not to eat pork because, to be brutally honest, it gives me horrible farts. My farts smell like death when I eat pork that night, right? So I try to stay away from it because of that. But I got real into people who were like trying to deduce where that hatred of pork comes from. And one guy actually had a pretty great theory about at the time because they were able to dig up like pig bones and see like how old the pig bones were in like certain areas and where the Bible was written. And long story short, it was deduced down to like one group of people trying. Okay, one group of people were trying to look down on the other group of people for eating like the dirty poor man's animal because the course of time for animals was okay. First, you wanted an animal just to eat, right? But then as people kept growing, they wanted animals for like their skin, their milk, their the fur, whatever the fuck, right? So pigs, where the pig was initially like highly, highly, highly cherish because you can eat pretty much the whole goddamn thing. But you can't ride. I mean, you can't really ride a pig anywhere. You can't, plow a field with a pig. You can't really do a whole lot that you can do like with a donkey, with horses, with cow, with bulls, shit like that. Like cows are fucking like amazing, dude. As far as like using it over its life. Pigs, you can't really do a whole lot of. So the pig, where when human civilization first took off with that, the pig it started off high because you can eat the whole goddamn thing, but it fell off because other animals were just more resourceful, right? So the pig was seen as like the poor man's food, and that was initially like where all that like hatred and looking down on people for eating pork. That's where that started, right? Historically speaking. So when the Bible was being written, they were able to deduce that they were able to deduce the reason why they spoke lowly about pigs was because they were actually in a fight with like another country, and that other country they were able to like through archaeological data they were able to prove that that those other people were actually eating pigs who they were in a quarrel with at that time. And but they had no pig bones in their country. Like they weren't fucking with pigs like that. They got rid of all of them. But again, like the Asian countries, they never cared. They never cared about that. That was never as far as I know, that was never a big concern with them at all. New Zealanders used to call the Europeans long pig. They are them. I think pork is close to human flesh, and that's why. Yeah. Yeah, I don't have a problem with. I just quit eating because again, it gives me terrible gas. So I try to not eat it as much as possible. If there's like I've switched over to beef. Um, and this thing about red meat, like why people like these diets are just getting ridiculous, man. Like anything to try to align with an identity is just getting out of hand. I think in America, far worse. Because this whole thing of like not wanting to eat red meat, but it's real funny how people who don't want to eat red meat have absolutely no understanding of biology or human biology on any standpoint other than watching YouTube reels. Like, because I was telling my girl, her mom is into this vegan shit, right? She's real into like trying to be healthy and all this, but she goes and like and swims in ponds and shit, right? And if she only knew the amount of potential parasites that are in like any pond, like she would never ever go sit at a pond or these small lakes and rivers. Like that's like the worst shit you'd ever want to do if you're trying to be like spotless healthy type of shit, right? But when it comes to like to this whole vegetarian, now I did the vegetarian thing for a year when I was 19, but I did it more just to just to try it out. I didn't do it to like, try to find my new identity. I just did it just to see what would happen at 19. I did it for a year. But these people, these diets of not wanting to eat red meat or meat. Okay, on a biological level, throughout the history of biology, literally those animals or insects that ate meat would typically have a bigger, stronger functioning brain than those animals of the same size or in the same families that didn't eat meat. That was the only consistency that was no, not the only, that was a big consistency in brain size, right? Actually, I read that down at the biology department down here in Czech Republic. But yeah, like these diets and these everything to just try to find an identity, man. Like these diets, these regimes of not watching porn or not drinking. I can see like not drinking pop because it's literally just sugar. It's just like crazy amounts of sugar and water. I can understand that. But a lot of these look, every man is going to find another woman attractive, right? And every woman is going to find another man attractive. It's normal. It's human, right? Right. All these look is not look. Let me see if my six pack. Your boy got look. See that? Has a six pack. Oh, I even got that going now. You see that? You see that? Here. Hey, you know what I ate for breakfast this morning? Some fucking fruit snacks. You see this? That's fueled by fruit snacks candy bars, uh, chickpeas, eggs, and spinach. That's pretty much my whole diet. And I work out on this shit. Like this whole thing of like trying to sell that you have to like go through all this pain and I don't know what I think ultimately it's a search for identity and self persecution. I think that's really what it is. It's a persecution fetish that's happened, and everybody's trying to. It's just constant push of you're not good enough unless you hurt yourself, and you got to suffer in some kind of way to find nirvana. It's just this weird. I don't know. Okay, do you like to eat something? Well, then eat that. And just don't eat it all the goddamn time. Don't just sit down and eat a whole tub of ice cream like all day, every day. Have some sense of awareness about it, you know. But I mean, just realize your situation and work with it, man. What are your thoughts on vegans making their own versions of popular foods like cauliflower wings, grilled watermelon, and baked? I mean, here's the thing, Jay. I think it's cool. I think it's, I think just I think it's creative. My girl makes cauliflower soup, which is amazing. I love it when she makes it every time. I didn't even know you can make soup with cauliflower, but she makes like blend in a it's like blended and it's not like chicken noodle soup where it's like clear, it's like thick. And she makes this cauliflower soup, which is amazing. I just wanted to tell you guys that, share it with you. But I think these grilled water, whatever, bacon, carrots, I think it's cool. Like my girl, she'll make celery fries or carrot or sweet potato fries. I think it's cool. Like I have no, or we go to there's this restaurant called Vegan Land here, Vegan Land. In America, to be something expensive, but here it's not crazy expensive. I'll eat there sometimes, just to try something new, something different. I think it's cool, it's interesting, but I think a lot of people are trying to like find their identity in being different in that to say, "Hey, well, I align with being vegan." Like, I think that's the weird part. Because I'll eat vegan shit I mean, not all the time, but I mean, I don't have anything against any type of food, you know. Some stuff just makes me sick, but I like literally makes me sick. Like I can't eat, some stuff where I get like horrible stomach aches, like wheat. Because there's a lot of people who swear against wheat. I'll eat it. It gives me I'll get weird body pains, stomach, abdominal pains, tomatoes. I can't eat tomatoes. I get weird abdominal pains. But I don't not eat it because I've read like maybe like one medical journal that was barely even on my topic of it from the start and just swore my life by it type of shit. I don't eat it because I try not to eat it because it literally hurts my stomach. Right. Right. But yeah, this whole like trying to search for an identity thing in money, shoes, cars, diets, sexual taste, whatever the fuck is just it's fucking crazy shit, man. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah. Actually, I'm out of fruit snacks. I ate my last bag this morning. I get some more. Celiac disease? Maybe. I've heard about I never actually looked too much into that, but I've heard about this celiac shit. I maybe I do have some form of it. What's your view on vegans? I mean, I had a good friend. Well, he wasn't a good friend. He was like he's a good friend of my good friend, I'd say. He was a vegan for like 20 something years. Um, I don't his name was John. His name really was John. Bunch of tattoos. He had tons of tattoos, but he was always a real cool dude. I never had any issues. I mean, the vegans that I've come across in my personal life, it wasn't anything. But I think social media is just getting too ridiculous with it. I think again, social media is just people are trying to find their identities and other shit, and I think that's where my issue is with it. Eight, not R. Platypus would I probably missed that comment where you said at, not R. AD, why do Asians look down on tan or Asians? I know they get tan for dirty work, but I can't answer that directly. I can just answer from my assumptions. in okay, with my experience with dealing with Asian countries, like racism can be fucking wild with them. In some of the Asian cultures that I've like dealt with, like on a personal level, or like spoke through like through internet shit with, like like looking for like a job in like China or some shit like that. Like that racial shit is like strong. That caste system shit is like deep. But it's not even a caste system though. It's just I think it's just colorism more. The Indians have that caste system shit. The China's not a caste system. It's colorism. It's 9:46. I'm gonna get off here in a minute. Oatmeal is basically a bowl of death. Yeah. Oatmeal is a bowl of death. Yeah, anything could be a bowl of death, man. And then the next article, it's the healthiest thing for you. Like, just man, just find what works for you and roll with it, man. From zero after 30, Austria D. I missed your vids. Oh, yeah, I gotta start making some regular vids. If it tastes good, then it's good for you. I say, just don't eat too much sugar. Don't eat too much salt, and make sure you're getting some fiber and some water, but not too much fiber. And then just get some water and everything else, man. You'll know when it's time to eat, a certain type of food again. You'll start getting a taste for it. I say just stay away from fast food as much as possible because that's just like mimicking real food. It's not like real. I say stay away from fast food. I would just think, well, but I got a different lifestyle. I don't leave much anyway, but stay away from like shitty restaurants and and fast food. Your story on Asian women who only mess with white dudes start to mess with black dudes when the white dudes didn't want her was funny and eye opening. Oh, Javi, yeah, they used to happen all throughout high school because there was that Asian population. They ain't touch black dudes until they done fucked up with the white dudes. Yeah, that that was a constant throughout high school because they was always pretty. But no, they don't. They might mess with that black girl if that black girl's good enough to hang out with the white girls. They might mess with them, maybe. But even then, like not until they mess. Not until like that was in my high school. That was just a common thing. You seen it all the time because most of them will be from Philippines. The Vietnamese didn't really make it out in my neighborhood. The Vietnamese would probably be more for like downtown Cincinnati, but in my area it'd be mostly Philippines. I can't remember the other country now because I'm thinking of one girl. She was beautiful back then, man, and her name is so I don't know if it's specific, but it sounds like it could be both specific or it can be like a typical like Asian type sounding name. But she was beautiful. That girl was gorgeous, man, and she was one of them. She was one of them. Like, she ain't wouldn't even look in your direction. If you wasn't white, she she look in your direction. Mm. Okay, and then on top, okay, if and she was a white skin like Asian, she was a lighter skin Asian, but the now the darker skin Asians, if they were pretty, then they can make that cut. But if they weren't pretty, they got rejected too. They was rejected down to the blacks. They got demoted. But the one I just mentioned was beautiful. She was a white skinned one, but I knew one. The Philippines are going to be brown, but she was pretty. The Filipino girl, she was pretty. That one. I remember one. I kind of want to say her name, but it might be. I tried looking for her on Facebook. I could never find her anyway. Her name was Mina, and that girl was like just another one, just gorgeous, dude. Just gorgeous. But yeah, but she was a white skin one. do think produce from back in the day is better than now, though. I think produce is well. I was telling my girl this time, and so with the I'm gonna get off here in a minute, but especially in the U.S., um, the produce that's a wild industry too, man, because they got beauty standards for the produce. I had no idea that beauty that how that worked. That beauty standard shit for produce is in grocery stores pretty much everywhere, but in the US it's wild, right? Because so America has a lot of issues with fresh foods, and it can have a lot. I'm gonna say every place in America does, but it can have bigger issues because see, we have raccoons in America. Here they say they call a raccoon a meevil. They don't have meevils, raccoons here. So and they don't have telephone poles for squirrels to crawl. So you don't I don't think I've ever seen a squirrel here. They don't have raccoons here. So you can grow anything outside and not have to spray anything on it without fear of like, something coming and a rabbit or something, or what, I'm on the seventh floor, but like a squirrel crawling up here eating my tomatoes or something like that. But in America, we have a much bigger population, at least in Czech Republic, of animals that can come up, or insects that will come up and eat everything or take bites out of it and ruin it. Right. So in America, like we have to either spray it to maintain a certain, that we can have food that looks of a certain quality, that, that grew to be beautiful enough to be sold in, Kroger's or Thriftway or Whole Foods or wherever the fuck, right? Because that's the other part, that beauty so that's another thing I recommend by look into the beauty standards of produce foods. Like that's wild. Like they'll just reject like edible fruits and vegetables because they just grew a little weird or they had a blemish on it. And they just so when you go to those farmers markets, those people who are like selling homegrown tomatoes, they literally just went to the grocery store and bought their refuse and sell it at markets. Most of them don't grow that shit there on their own because you need a lot of land space to do that, to grow it reliably to where you have enough to sell, like I say, for weeks at a time type of shit. You would need a lot of land for that to consistently do it, especially in North America. So, um, so yeah, no, the produce is going to get worse. So because it's that argument, it's the argument. Because one of my favorite songs in this category, the Big Yellow Taxi by Joni Mitchell, and she said like she'd rather have like the bites and the spots on her apples, don't spray it with DDT and all that shit. Well, the reality when you trying to feed an entire nation is okay, do you want to spray these, let's say 15 tons of apples, right? Now we know spraying these apples is gonna fuck up the taste and all that, but you got apples to eat. Or do you want to not spray them and fuck around and lose half of that shit to bites and rabbits chewing? Because when animals come to eat, they're not just gonna chew on like one little one and and leave it alone. They're gonna go bite all the tomatoes. They just gonna walk down the street, hop, 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 and they gonna bite out of every one down the road. So it's like, so do you spray all of them to make sure that you're gonna have a certain harvest? Or do you take the chance and do it the more natural route, which we all know is going to be better, but you might lose a third of it, right? So it's like, so it's that gamble, right? Or you get diseases, whatever the fuck, because that's what the Irish, but they had that whole issue. The Irish had that issue because they were only growing one type of potato, right? And then they end up, but that potato end up getting the blight, and so all their potatoes got fucked up. Like because they were only growing one form of potato. This is before the days of DET and all that shit like that. But so that's why Ireland got like super fucked up for like, I want to say they're just getting back to populations, to their population of what it was. I think like 1800. I think it was. But yeah, so there's different factors you have to weigh in with that. And I think that's another area where Europe is better in this context, because like I don't think now I could be mistaken, but as far as I know, they don't have anywhere near that same level of problem that North America has. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna get out of here because it's 9:56. Yo, y'all have a good day, you tonight. I'm gonna put the last stream up from last week up. I might have to download it and edit it because my internet's been fucked up, or YouTube's been fucking me up lately. So I'm gonna get out of here, man. Yo, y'all have a good day, either night, wherever you are, and I catch you on a flippy flip, man. I'm gonna play Celeste or probably Sekiro, and I catch y'all later, man. Peace out.